live once again. A little late today. I've been working on some other game dev related things. There's a tutorial coming out this morning, so I'm trying to prepare that, and actually working on creating blog posts to go along with my tutorials, because I think that would be helpful for people. So yeah, so that's what I was up to. But back to our Brick Breaker game. I don't know, I made a list last night. I think we're pretty close. We're not too far off from where we need to be. So if I was to make a quick notepad sketch here, we've got one, we need to do the player dies loop, right? So lose a life, kind of reset, really just reset the ball, right? And then lose all life, game over screen, and start screen, or continue or something. Which means maybe we shouldn't actually number these. Which means we need a start screen and a game over screen. And in this we need our ball life logic, or whatever, to be more fleshed out. Okay. And you know, in the nature of kind of prototyping and building something fast, like my current logic for handling this life is not necessarily the best. So let's see what we can do. So let's tackle the start screen first. Okay, and I think one of the things we would need to think about is making the start screen kind of what was I going to say? I don't remember. You know, I haven't had a sip of coffee yet. Alright, so I'm going to make the start screen a separate screen, and I was going to make it a little bit like visual, have some like the ball bouncing or something, and then yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is what kind of state do we really need to save between games. I think with this game here, it's so simple, maybe we don't need to. Alright, and if there was some other concern, I'll think of it. Okay, so I'm going to create a new level. And how new do I want this? Actually, cancel. I'm going to duplicate our current level because I have all this post-processing stuff in here. Even the camera actor is pretty solid. I wonder if I need this fog. Probably not. Alright, so I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to call it start screen. Vestibule. Alright, so now we're here. Alright, and we don't need everything that's in here. So things that we don't need are the ball reset. Wonder, I guess it makes it glowier with the fog. Okay. Should we bump up the fog? Whoa. Maybe that was one of my problems when I was trying to get this effect to work. There wasn't any fog to make it so I have this black background here for the game board, which works pretty well. Alright, so something else to research, I think. I'm just duplicating this and putting it down here. So my idea was you could have the ball like bouncing around, and maybe don't have like the level builder. No. I'm wondering also if I need to make our light source dynamic, especially with the blocks coming in. All right, and I don't know what I do with the paddle. I guess. So we're going to need a player. So if I delete the player start on the start screen. Okay, so we have it. Okay. And then didn't give us any errors. That's good. Okay. Now we're going to like aim the ball kind of in an interesting angle. Oh, that doesn't do anything. Oh, I wasn't aiming the ball. I was aiming the post-processing. Okay, let's see the ball now. Let's see if this works. There we go. Alright. And we're also not going to need the score. Which I thought was put on the screen by the player controller, which is dumb, but here we are. Alright, so I have the UI score, which also has the so it has the score and the lives in it. I believe that it's set up in our I wonder if this timer stuff is needed still. Gotta figure out game time. I don't think I use that anymore, but anyway. Oh, maybe it's inside this loop here. Okay. We're using it for the multipliers. Okay. All right. So here I have the create score widget. It's set to viewport. So, which makes me think that if we pause here, we have a paddle in the game somewhere. It's just like, no. Well, why would it be? Okay, so here's our like default player controller. Although I don't see that in here either. The default player pawn. I find interesting is that the UI actually still pops up. Yeah, so let's make a new player pawn then and see what happens. Okay, we'll do a player pawn. BP start pawn, and then I guess if we put in a player start, let's look at it. Because I'm thinking that it's only the game mode that controls like what kind of pawn the player gets like automatically. So yeah. So now if we have this, we're going to get this. So we could create a new game mode, but then we have to figure out, we have to swap game modes. So yeah, I think I might be going down the wrong path. I think there's probably a more graceful way to do this, but okay. So if we have our start game mode, default pawn, what will that do for us? Okay. This is our default pawn. But we're just going to use our start pawn, which looks like nothing. Good. Okay. And then we're going to want to switch to a different game mode, I guess. So I guess in our event graph, let's do something super simple. We can create an event here. And I think there's an any key. Yeah, so we could use this. Is there like an any input? That'd be amazing. Like what I'm thinking is like, sure, you can click on your keyboard, but what about like a controller or yeah, so maybe any key is kind of dumb. So let's do, oh yeah, close the input. Okay, so project settings. I'm going to add a action mapping. It's pretty amazing how simple this game is though, right? So few controls. Start game. Alright. And we are going to use, oops. So we can add any key. Okay. Let's see. Does gamepad have any? No. I guess we're not. Oh yeah, I do have gamepad. Okay, so we'll do face. Face button bottom. So I don't know. That sounds intuitive to me. We could also do gamepad start or whatever. I think it's special, right? Let's double check. Yeah. Okay. And then for keyboard, oh, we have any key for keyboard. And then mouse. Just do left mouse button. Alright, so if we click the screen, press any key on the keyboard or do something with the gamepad. Alright, we start the game. Alright, so in here, now we have a start game. And when we press it, we're going to want to let's see, there's a way to get to a different map. So Unreal is confusing with maps because they call them maps, they call them levels. Okay, so we're going to go to the next level. So let's see. And I think we're just going to open it by name. And the name of our level is... We got to move these into the right place. Okay, so bricks 1. Okay. Alright, and then so this is interesting. You can add like a string of information. So I guess you could tell the next level something and the next level can read it without too much, without having to add like more global state stuff. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so maybe you could set the difficulty or something. Alright, so that should do it. Okay, so let's see what happens. We can I don't know why this doesn't save. Okay, so we click play, and then we go. So there you go. Alright, so this is the start screen still. I hope that wasn't too loud. It's really loud in my headphones. That's probably why I'm talking so low on the video. Alright. Okay, I'm worried about everyone's ears, and then no one can hear me. Okay, so let's add a UI. Actually, I'm wondering, can I take this side content panel is really useful for navigating these things. Once it's in this content viewer, it's really hard to figure out where you are. And I have level files, so I'm going to move. I'll move the start screen, but right now I have the start screen open, so I'm not going to do it just yet. Okay, so now we have our levels. Okay, we should have a folder for UI too. This is really rudimentary kind of organization, but like I have my main classes just like sitting out here, but usually you put them in something. I don't really like calling a folder just blueprints. It's kind of unhelpful. Like all the bricks are stored here, although we only use this brick now, but we have an effect thing. Alright, anyway, UI. Let's make a new UI. Call this UI. Start. We'll just add some text. And anchor in the center. And if you do that, you can do that, and then so you can do like -0.5, I think. Oh, maybe it's just 0.5. There you go. And that gives you kind of a centered thing, and then maybe 0.5 here too. Right, we're in the center. I don't know if that's where we really want it to be, but and I don't know what we're calling the game yet. So brick. What was it called again? One of the folks I interact with a lot on Twitter said we should call it something to do with super hot. Anyway, let's just call it this, and then we'll see what to do with it. Alright, we're not ready for branding. Okay. Well, expanding it does not help your... Okay, there you go. Alright, that's our title screen. Probably need to tell the user to... I wish there was like an automated way to just set this up, so that it would just be... Yeah, that's right, I want it to be centered. Okay, let's type 0.5 in every time. Alright. I'm just going to have a general press any key. Alright, and then I gotta fix my position again. Oops. Let's do the X position. Okay, good. Alright, so that looks good. I mean, it does look good. And then if you press play, nothing will happen. Alright, good. Now we need to add this to our start pawn. So, on the gameplay, and then this is one of the most unintuitive nodes, I think, because you have to say create widget or something, which you just created the widget, so why do you have to create the widget? So we're adding our UI start, and then we have to add it to the screen. I don't remember exactly how to do that, so add loading splash screen. Show. Let's just type in widget. We'll see if we find something. Cast a widget. Add widget. Create widget. Nope. Get all widgets of class. Okay, so we have this information right here actually. So create widget, and then add to viewport. So that's what it's called. Add to viewport. And we're not going to set it to a variable because there's no, I'm not going to interact with it. Okay. So this should, so there you go. All right. So yeah, the orange really makes it hard to. There's another way to do, oh, does this, okay, I don't know. That might be the way to set it. There's also a way to set it up to scale size to content, I guess. Okay. Oh, that's not it. That's just, there's a way to make it scale with like the person's computer screen, so I gotta figure that one out too. But, tooltip, not worried about. Okay. Maybe it's in the canvas. But well, I don't know if we want to put it more up here. If this is centered, then the board is not centered or something. So that's interesting. Things to fix. Maybe I'll just make the text a little smaller, and then so what's 64? That's really small. 72 comes after 72. It's just 80. Let's see. Sure. All right, let's get this camera actor. I'm gonna screw up my game. Let's see. Huh. Look at that. Okay. I think I'm gonna move it back down again, and then we're gonna. All right, we're gonna fix that camera on the main game too. All right, cool. So that's our start screen, and it works. And right now the whole game plays inside this one level, so which means I might add the game over to this level too, just so we're not having to manage too much state. I'm thinking of like, what if you wanted to like add a continue feature or something like that. All right. So yeah, so before I go, let's save this. Save all. I'll just I don't think I have it open, so I called it the bricks tutorial because I was thinking maybe I'll start a tutorial on how to make the brick breaker. I don't know, might still do it, but did it just load or not? Yeah, so I made a simple tutorial. Part of my new idea is creating a series of tutorials for beginners. So, and one of the things I was thinking about a lot lately was just how many times I've read conversations on the internet about like new developers who are wanting to get into game engines, and they're trying to figure out which one to use, and almost everyone is like, Unreal is too hard, Unreal is too complicated, you should start with Unity or Godot or something. And I have no experience with Godot, but I do have experience with Unity, and I think Unity is really helpful if you want to learn how to program like a C language right off the bat. Like, you're going to have to do that. So this idea that it's like automatically easy is actually not true. I don't know why people really think that. Like, you do need to learn C# in order to do anything in Unity. So so that like right off the bat is a challenge. Like, can you get things up and running pretty fast? Sure. And that's how I kind of started anew in the last 10 years or whatever. I started with Unity. I had done other stuff in the past. Like, I'd actually done C++ and just DirectX programming in college for fun. But man, what a wonderful world we live in now, where we have these game engines. But I started looking into Unreal as Unity got more complex and kind of unreliable, and you know, it's been a couple years trying to figure it out, but it's been a lot of fun. So I'm trying to think of ways I can help people kind of get started easier than maybe when I was starting out on Unreal, and providing some resources for kind of things, I guess, that like I would do in Unity that I would quote think was easy, and how you could get that started in Unreal. So yeah, and I think one of those things is like, you know, it's super easy to open up an Unreal template and have like a first-person shooter or third-person character, and there are so many people running around with a third-person character as the base of their game. But what I was doing in this tutorial was just kind of having the user create a their own kind of player pawn that they can control. So this is controlled by the mouse and the keyboard. The camera angle is really extreme for my controls, but so this is the keyboard, and then there's also the mouse here. So, but like this is only a few nodes to create actually, so it's not super hard. And I mean, you could make all sorts of games with this right away. You know, if you want to add more features, that's something we'll probably show in the future. So, you know, add a few pickups and you have something that's, you know, similar to Pac-Man or some other maze type game. So, anyway, that tutorial's coming out around 9 o'clock. So look out for it. All right. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in today, or tuning in whenever you check out this video, and see you tomorrow.